Thank you all for joining us today. I hope you can hear me correctly. So in the run-up to the 10th anniversary of University Dilijan in 2024, we have launched these 10th anniversary perspectives. It's a series of talks themed around UWC missions to make education a force to unite people, nations, and cultures for peace and a sustainable future. To introduce myself shortly, I am Brieux Delecourt from Belgium, and I am in my second and last year here at University Dilijan. As a member of the University Sustainability Committee, I am delighted that we have today the opportunity to host this series of talks again around sustainability. And I believe that change starts with us understanding the issues and, most importantly, the ways in which we can contribute to solve them now or in the future. Our guest today is Mr. John Salazar, CEO and founder of Gazelle Wind Power Limited. Before inviting you to speak, John, let me mention the format of the session, which will last around 30 minutes. Mr. Salazar will speak for about 10 to 15 minutes, telling us a bit about himself, his vision, his experience, and his project with Gazelle. We can then make all comments and ask questions here on Zoom, in the Q&A box, or on Facebook, where we are also live. Mr. Salazar focuses on renewable energy, especially breakthrough technology in deep water sea, which he will explain later. An extremely relevant subject for us all, especially in the light of geopolitical situations we have the past year. And I look forward to hearing about his solution. Mr. Salazar, the floor is yours.
Thanks a lot, Brieux, for this kind introduction. It's a great pleasure to be here with all of you. Welcome. As Mr. Brieux said, I'm John Salazar, founder of Gazelle, and thanks a lot to the UWC Dilijan College for having me here today. Can you hear me well? Can we see comments? We would like to do this very dynamic. We would love to hear where are you connecting from. We are aware that you are connecting from over 18 countries. We would love to know where are you based. And please feel free to interact, feel free to put any questions on the chat. This session is for yourselves, and we want to do this not like a monologue, but we want really to engage and to interact with you. So take the opportunity to engage with us. I'm going to share with you, as Brieux said, I'm going to introduce you what we are doing in the renewable energy space, in particularly aiming to unlock the power of new industry, the power of floating offshore wind, which will play an essential role in addressing the carbonization goals within the next decade. I'm going to share with you now a few slides, but please feel free to share any ideas, any questions on the chat, and we can further elaborate. And after that, we will welcome the Q&A session. Excellent. Can you please confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Great. Excellent. So I'm going to give you a 10,000-meter view about what we are doing at Gazelle and how this relates to sustainability, how this relates from an entrepreneurial point of view to supporting and to contributing to unlocking a new industry. The reality is we are now at a historic moment in humankind. With the fast pace of technologies, with new technologies arising, and in particular with new technologies being enabling to unlock new industries that will be essential to achieve the sustainability development goals that the United Nations have set up. So this is a case study of what we are doing at Gazelle Wind Power. As a technology provider, Gazelle is considered to be one of the most promising startups globally, delivering innovative solutions for the floating offshore wind industry. Here you can see on this image, on this video, you can see, you can imagine this. I invite you to imagine the scale of this type of solutions, because what we are doing is unlocking the power of the wind. I'm sure most of you have seen wind turbines onshore, on land. And what we're doing is taking these wind turbines farther offshore. This could be a few kilometers from the shore, or it could be dozens or even hundreds of kilometers from the shore. And this makes a lot of sense, because when you go farther offshore, the wind is stronger and it is less intermittent, more constant. And this enables us to be more efficient. It enables us to achieve higher capacity factors. So at Gazelle, we are focused on delivering the floating foundation. It seems the videos, now you can see this video, you can see how we are approaching. And this type of solutions for the latest size, for the latest wind turbines, can be as tall as the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower was the largest structure built by by human beings after the pyramids in Egypt. No, it took us a few thousand years to build such a high structure as the Eiffel Tower. These structures can be over 300 meters, over 280 meters in height. So imagine a skyscraper. Imagine the scale of a skyscraper that is floating, and we need to keep this stable, and we need to keep it with buoyancy, floating. Otherwise, the wind turbine operations will cease. So this is what we are doing at Gazelle. We're focused on the foundation and the moorings to enable the wind turbines. The company was founded 2 years ago. I founded the company in December 2020. And this is the result of over 10 years of R&D. And it's another very good example of how important it is to connect universities and R&D institutions with entrepreneurship. And here, all of you listening this as potential entrepreneurs have a key role to solve some of the biggest problems that humanity is facing now. One of these is all the global warming situation. If we want to stay on track with the 1.5 degrees global warming scenario from the pre-industrial levels, we need to act with a lot of urgency. We need to, of course, ensure that we have energy security, energy supply for continuing running our society. And at the same time, we need to ensure that we can fastly move, quickly and with urgency move towards an energy transition. And there are many pieces that we will need to assemble for unlock this energy transition. We will need to further progress solutions like energy storage. We will need to further progress how can we convert electricity to green hydrogen. We will need to see how all these different energy systems interact. But sharing with you a story, a few months ago, I was in Egypt, in Sharm el-Sheikh, for COP27, the climate-related conferences from the United Nations. I was invited there as a panelist to effectively speak about floating wind and offshore wind. And it was quite stunning for me to see in the innovation pavilion. I recall I could see a counter, and in that counter, I recall a number saying 12%. 12% is the number of electricity that today is produced coming from renewable energy. So it's simply at 12%. And to simplify our discussion today, let's say it's 6% solar, 6% wind. Of course, there are other sources, geothermal, other type of sources. But let's say it's when the sun shines, we have solar. We're starting to develop solar projects, or we've been developing solar projects. And where the wind blows, we have wind power. First onshore, now moving further offshore with fixed bottom solutions. And what we're going to hear today is a game-changing technology that we're introducing in order to go further offshore and as I said before, enable floating offshore wind. Here you can see some of the markets where our company has already patented its disruptive technology. This is a global opportunity, global market. It's a global challenge. And I'm very excited to be speaking to you today as well, because in order to solve this type of complex problems, we need very senior people, and we have very senior people in our teams, in our board of directors, our shareholders, very experienced. But also we need the new generations. We need people with the energy and with the drive in order to push, in order to lead forward all the new solutions, all the new ideas. All that's what entrepreneur does for enabling new renewable energy solutions and increase that output from 12% to further amounts to 60% to 80% within the next few decades. So all of us here on this call, we have the opportunity to drive this energy transition to ensure that we have energy security in our countries within the next few decades, because we have that energy, we have that drive, and we will need to push this for the next few decades. This is not going to be done in the next couple of years or in the next decade. This is going to take us at least 2 to 3 decades to fully assemble all the pieces of the puzzle for each of the energy systems to bring down the levelized cost of electricity to a level where this can be affordable at scale, and at the same time to enable a synergy or how the different systems are going to interact with each other. Focus now specifically on offshore wind. That is my obsession as an entrepreneur. Driving a project as this, I believe in focus. Very important to focus on one thing, and you need to become like an Olympic athlete that wants to achieve a gold medal. If you want to achieve a gold medal in the next Olympics, for example, in swimming, we can see the example of Michael Phelps a few years ago when he obtained all these gold medals. He basically did 3 things in his life. He was sleeping, he was eating, and he was training. And then he got back to getting some rest, getting some calories, and then getting back in the pool, getting back in the gym. So that's the type of attitude that for me, I believe an entrepreneur needs to have if you want to be successful. Focusing on the challenges or the problems to turn this vision into action, to turn all this ambition into action in the next few decades, and focusing on offshore wind, focusing on what needs to be done to accelerate and to make floating offshore wind affordable, to make these wind turbines that can be as tall as the Eiffel Tower, as I said before, that can be floating skyscrapers. What needs to happen for us to see this? DNV, which is one of the leading classification societies, and we're working very closely with them on certifying our technology. They did a survey to the industry, to the companies that are generating revenues in wind power. And over 60% in this latest survey by DNV, which is publicly available, they believe that this will become a reality in the next decade, 2035. This may accelerate or not, but the industry is moving. And over 60% of these companies generating revenue in wind, they are increasing their investment in floating offshore wind. So I'm here to tell you that floating wind is happening. I envision, I see that in some countries, floating offshore wind will provide most of the majority of the electricity for the population. That means providing electricity to your households, providing electricity to universities, to colleges, as you are joining us today, to enterprises, to hospitals, to school. This is very basic. This is a matter of energy security. This is a matter of ensuring that we can develop our activities, our social activities, and our businesses, and operate as a society and keep evolving. And it's also a matter of energy transition. So DNV, they highlighted the manufacturing cost as the main issue to date in order to start to see wind power affordable at scale on the sea. And that's because most of the legacy systems, they come from oil and gas. They are inspired from offshore oil and gas, and they require a significant amount of steel or concrete in order to provide the buoyancy and to provide the stability. At Gazelle, we are solving that problem by introducing a paradigm shift. We are introducing disruptive technology that eliminates the need of using active ballast tanking systems, which is something complex that energy developers are not very keen to use. Introducing a passive system, a dynamic mooring system, using a counterweight and a set of levers, and this allows us for a significant weight reduction in the cost of steel and extending the lifetime. So what you're saying now is an example of entrepreneurship applied to innovation, to an industrial innovation. That's what we're doing at Gazelle Wind Power. The vision that we have at Gazelle is to become one of the benchmarks in floating offshore wind globally. And we want to drive standardization. And by that, what I mean is that it will be very important for reducing the levelized cost of electricity to see a solution, a floating solution that emerges as the preferred one, or to reduce the number of types. And we strongly believe we have with our product, we have all the potential to become that. So I encourage you to dream big, to think big, and to be big. Don't forget about your dreams. I'm sure maybe some of you are starting to forget about your dreams. And a few years ago, when maybe you were 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, I'm sure you were dreaming big. But perhaps today you are forgetting about that. So that's the start. That's the spark that we need to put in our belly. We need to fuel that spark every day. So we keep going. And when you are seeking to achieve this type of problem, when you're trying to solve these problems, or when you're trying to achieve this type of vision and achieving this type of dreams, of course, you have many problems every day. These problems need to become speed bumps, and we need to go over speed bumps. And this can be applied, in this case, to introducing a technology good for the world, great for the world, great for the next generations, and providing clean, affordable energy, or for any other area of your life. We all have a lot of problems, and we need to go over those problems as if they are speed bumps, and we go over a car. And I believe it's very important to have that dreams very close to us, that vision very close to us, so we go over. So that's the vision we have. And by introducing this disruptive technology, we expect to reduce CapEx in excess of 33%. We expect to reduce significantly the cost of the platform for this industry in excess of 30%. To reduce the mooring lengths. So instead of using very long catenary lines, we want to reduce by 75% using vertical moorings. This is very beneficial for marine ecosystems because we don't need to perform the seabed. We can just place our solution similar to as a ship, to as a vessel. that is floating and drops the anchor. And also, in addition to saving the cost, it will be very beneficial to creating fishing corridors. We need to respect all the different stakeholders at seas. The seas are very crowded areas, and it's very important that we engage with fisheries, with other people that are doing projects on sea, and we all collaborate and work together for achieve these very important goals. Replacing, from the sustainability point of view, we could save 2 million tons of CO2 per year per each gigawatt of wind farm, delivering this type of solution. So that's a significant reduction in CO2 emissions. And again, we will need at least in the next few decades over 300 gigawatts of total installed capacity of floating offshore wind in order to stay on track with the decarbonization goals. That's of course a big market. That's a 650 billion euros total addressable market. And these forecasts, in my view, they are conservative and they are continuously increasing. So I'm trying to tell you is there's a massive opportunity we are creating a new industry. This is similar to going 100 years ago when the first entrepreneurs in America starting to, for example, Vanderbilt started to create the shipping transport industry in New York. We can see how then he transitioned to railways and the railway industry was created. We can see how Andrew Carnegie created the steel industry, and that was applied to skyscrapers, and now we can see buildings made of steel. We can see how Rockefeller started with the kerosene industry and then transitioned to creating the oil and gas industry, enable energy for the world. JP Morgan with the finance industry, and then with Thomas Edison acquiring Thomas Edison's company and creating General Electric, started to power the whole world with electricity. So it's the same feeling. It's the same feeling. That's what I'm trying to convey to you. We are creating a new industry. We need the support of people, of governments, of businesses all over the world because the potential is massive. As you saw in the image before, we want to deploy these solutions globally, and we will need to push this for the next few decades. So all of you on this call could contribute to this new industry, which is going to generate a massive amount of jobs in different verticals. It's a big opportunity for all of you here. This is an example, again, of how entrepreneurship can be applied to industrial innovation. Our technology has been demonstrated not simply on a sketch, but a numerical analysis and simulations, but we've already done proof of concepts. This proof of concept was done for one of the largest renewable energy developers in the world. And the principle and the technology that is patented and that is behind is very robust and can be scaled up. And it has been independently verified by third parties such as DNV. So you can see here an example of turning that vision, that idea into action. And actually, now starting to deploy projects. Our next big milestone is to deploy a full-scale project in Portugal, and we're working also with several developers and O&Ms in order to push the next generation of projects. I will simply show you 2 more slides, and I will open the discussion. But this is very relevant too from an entrepreneurship perspective. Some of you may think, well, I have no idea about wind power. I have no idea about renewable energy. How I'm going to start? It's going to take me years. It's going to take me decades to transition into a new industry. I'm here to tell you that you don't need to know. You need to know at all about that industry. If you're capable to surround yourself with the right people. I believe a lot in mentorship. The promise that Gazelle technology represents has attracted significant leadership to our board, to our executive team, as well as to our cap table. Our chairman, non-executive chairman, for example, is Dr. Javier Cavada. He's the CEO at Mitsubishi Power for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. A real example of a company, a leader delivering and electrifying the world, delivering projects that are touching all our lives globally. Connie Hedegaard, the former Minister of Energy and Industry from Denmark. She is the former, the ex-commissioner for climate action change from the European Union, has had a significant impact in driving the energy transition in Europe. Mesonero is the head of M&A and corporate development for Iberdrola, the former CFO at Siemens Gamesa. To me, one of the best leaders coming from Europe now in the renewable energy space. And we have significant shareholders too, such as Mr. Del Pino or Mr. Costa Matos, who are themselves very successful entrepreneurs. And now, as investors, they want also to push the next generation of entrepreneurs. So what I'm telling you is, if you don't know specifically about the topic, make sure that you surround with the right people so you can de-risk that idea, you can de-risk that topic. You can ensure that if you are going to solve a problem, that problem is worth solving. You can ensure that if you have an idea of a solution, make sure that that solution is difficult, but I'm sure you can have an idea to solve a solution, becoming different or becoming better, becoming the best in doing that. I'm sure you all have many ideas. So that's a very good way of de-risking your ideas before you start to invest money. You can start this type of projects with very limited capital, as far as you are able to attract with your leadership the right type of expertise, and then this type of people will help you to govern. No, you are there as an entrepreneur to put your energy, to put your drive, to lead, to push forward, move forward, and all these very expert people with very outstanding track records in their careers for many decades are there to ensure we don't get into trouble, to ensure that if we have a red flag in front of us, they can advise us. We need to hear them, of course. We need to listen to them, of course, and then execute. But I believe in mentorship, and I believe in that power of having a board of directors or of advisors. We are working with key O&Ms. Those are the original equipment manufacturers, the companies delivering the wind turbines, and we are also working with some of the leading APCIs, the engineering, procurement, construction, installation companies, and developers. Our company is generating ongoing revenue coming from maritime and engineering contracts, and our business is pretty scalable based on licensing our technology to these type of companies. And all of this at the heart of what we are doing, very much aligned to sustainability development goals, 13 for climate action change and 7 for clean affordable energy. So this is a 10,000 meter view about what is Gazelle. I welcome your comments, your questions, your thoughts. We would love to make this very interactive now. And feel free to reach out and learn more at gazellewindpower.com. And you can follow us on LinkedIn as well. So in a nutshell, Gazelle is targeted to be and is considered to be one of the most promising technologies to unlock floating offshore wind and to lower, by contributing to standardization, to lowering the levelized cost of electricity for this exciting industry. Thanks a lot for your attention, and I'll give you back the word, Brio. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Salazar. You're truly the forefront of developing new sources of energy like wind power, and I believe that you do crucial work in this industry if we want to move forward to carbon neutral solutions. So now I encourage all the attendees to ask questions, and meanwhile, please allow me to ask a couple of mine. So my first question is, Mr. Salazar, your work with Gazelle Wind Power is very aligned with our UWC values and our mission, and brings about impactful change in the world's wind energy industry. I was wondering what has been the most rewarding experience with that project so far?
It's a great question, and I'll share with you, and it's a very personal one, and it's related to the story of how I started doing this project. I'm not the inventor. Please allow me to give praise to the inventor and the godfather of Gazelle, Dr. Antonio Garcia. He's a doctor in naval engineering, champion of mathematical Olympics in the 70s, gold medalist. He was the lead hydro engineer for the America's Cup sailing competition for Spain in the 3 editions where Spain participated. Well, he's a genius. I met him when I was 7 years old. He inspired me to become an engineer, although I was a very good engineer. I majored in comms, electrical, and software. But I come from a family of engineers, a family of naval engineers. My dad was a naval engineer. Dr. Garcia, who is my uncle, he's a doctor in naval engineer. My grandfather owned a shipyard in the north of Spain. So I come from those roots, and I quickly transitioned. When I started my career, I started in the corporate world. In a big four and working in banking, and I very rapidly transitioned to entrepreneurship. I wanted to start doing small deals, starting to get into different projects. So for a while, I was driving my own projects. Some of them went well, or it's not that well. But in 2020, I exited my previous group of companies, and then I became the first investor in Gazelle. And I did that because I wanted to help a person that he was a mentor for me, a person that inspired me, Dr. Antonio Garcia. So I tried to help him. By that date, this was simply an idea. We wanted to turn this idea into reality. So I started putting my own capital into this project, and I started bringing a team of industry experts, as you've seen, in order to help me the technology and the product and shape the vision. Well, you shape the vision by moving. That's very important to take action, because the more action you take, the more clarity you have. And the more clarity you have, the clearer the results you want to achieve. It's like the water. When water is moving, it's crystalline. When water is not moving, you need to move a lot to get to this type of ideas. But getting back to your question, the most rewarding, probably one of the most rewarding experiences was when we capitalized part of the company. My uncle could spend all his time as he's our chief innovation officer, and he's the same as I am. As we say, we are on this 25 hours a day, 8 days a week. I mean, we are on this completely switch on. We are obsessed with this. So one of the most rewarding moments was to see him and his family in a very emotional way. Well, when we started to see that this was turning into reality, that was very, very emotional for me. And now it's a big responsibility. Well, for me, it's not just the employee and the staff that are working with us, our colleagues, but it's also their families supporting that. No, you need to be responsible for them. You have a lot of families that depend on the decisions that you're making. So that's important for me. And the stage we are in now, this has become much greater than myself or much greater than my family or my uncle or our staff. This is now something that we are driven by something greater by us. That's my feel, and that's my gut feel. And this is something for a better world, for the next generations. It's something very, very important. We have a big responsibility to introduce this technology. It's a big emotional roller coaster, bro. I can share with you the good, the bad, and the ugly. Not only the good, the positive things. As I said before, you have problems every day, and you need to go through all those problems. You need to go through the speed bumps. So I trust this gives you that feel of what it is to be an entrepreneur driving a project as such.
It's a really touching story behind the Gazelle product, and I'm really glad you got to take it on into the real world. I have a second question actually that can help some students that are here on this talk. So as students here at University Dilijan, a lot of us actually aspire to develop such impactful and entrepreneurial projects like yours. My question is, how did you and your team find the support, the investments needed to develop Gazelle Wind Power? And what advice can you give to our students who seek to bring a team together and attract support to their projects, like the numerous support and institutions that follow Gazelle, as you talked about?
Excellent. So I'm going to be very straightforward, and maybe when I leave this talk, some of you will not like me, but if all of you like me, then I'm not doing my work properly. I'm going to talk to you very straightforwardly, because if you want to follow a path as such, first, as I said before, hard work. I mean, this is more about the number of hours you are, of course, in a smart way. But if you are, let's say, if you are seeking to capitalize the company, and you are working 20, 30, 40 hours a day, a week, forget about this. Don't even consider getting into delivering a project as this. You should be completely focused on this. You should have working shifts a week from 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120 hours a week. Almost everything you should be doing is focusing on this, enabling, of course, focusing on having commercial traction, focusing on having the right industrial traction that helps to bring capital. And then you need to define a long-term funding strategy. It's very different, the capital that we are attracting now. We have now institutional capital, institutional funds. We have public capital from some governments coming in. We have some infrastructure funds. Now it's different than when we first started. When we first started, the type of investor you need to seek is different. When we first started, we were seeking for some ultra high net worth individuals, some angels, maybe the owners of some of these funds that have their own small VC venture capital vehicles. We were able to, and I'm very proud of this. We're working with a company called Catapult Ocean, for example. This is a great example. If you have ideas to innovate, you can look Catapult Ocean. This is a Norwegian venture capital and accelerator. And these guys were very helpful with us, for example, not just by providing capital, but connecting us to all their network. So what I'm trying to tell you is, you need to have a long-term funding strategy. You need to be aware of, you need to have an exit strategy too. Exit strategy is to take the company to a level where then you exit to a partner, or no, it's to list publicly, to take the company public to the stock market. It depends on your vision. It depends on what the market is telling you to realize your vision. And from that vision you will set up the right strategy, and then you will set up the right structure. Always for me, the structure you put in place follows the strategy that you're executing, and that strategy must enable you to achieve your vision. So then if you want, let's say you want to achieve an exit in a number of years, 5 to 7 years, or you want to list publicly, you need to know how many equity funding rounds, for example, you will need, or maybe you are not using equity, you are using debt, or you're using project finance. That's the beauty. That's the beauty that there is not a blueprint. Each project has a different blueprint, and you will need to define that blueprint by yourself by taking action. So once you know each of the rounds or each of the investment needs that you have, you target the right type of investor, and then you need to approach them. You need to go out there and you need to speak to investors, and probably this is the most important message, or one of the most important messages that I'm going to share with you today. You need to kiss a lot of frogs. You need to kiss 100 frogs, and then you find your princess or your prince. You need to turn a lot of rocks, and this is how it is. You're going to be rejected many times, and that's the reality. You're going to be, and not because not because your project is not fundable or your project is not well enough. It depends a lot on the other party too. Maybe your project doesn't fit into their mandate. Maybe today I've spoken to a company that they are investing more into solar and storage. This was something new for them. It was super interesting for them because they see a strategic fit. But maybe they are now doing 2023 and 24 investing on a different vertical, and maybe until 25, 26 they are not deciding to invest into this vertical, or the opposite way. So you need to kiss a lot of frogs. That would be my, like, if we summarize these last few minutes, you need to kiss a lot of frogs so you find your princess or your prince. That's the main takeaway I would say.
Thank you for this valuable advice. It's really interesting. So we have a few questions from the chat actually. So the first question is, how long did it actually take from the idea to the working model?
That was done very rapidly. Company founded in December 2020. Towards the end of 2021, we already have a working model, and the model was already being manufactured at the end of the summer. I think we started with that. Yeah, so probably it took us 12 months. That's fast, that's quick. But again, it depends on you. If you push the pedal to the metal, if you're going to work 20 hours a week, it will take you 7 years. If you're going to work 120 hours a week, it's going to take you less, 12 months. So that's very important. And the same for your studies. Again, some of you will not like me after I say this, but some of you maybe you feel you want to illuminate yourselves. You want to get divine inspiration for your exams. Well, I guarantee you, if you work 120 hours a week on your studies, you will get inspired, divine inspiration, and you will nail your exams for sure. You will be in the top. So it's a matter of doing things smart too. But assuming you are all very smart and you are doing your studying and you are approaching your projects in a smart way, it's about the output, the effort, the horsepower you are delivering into this. That's very important. At least that's very important for me as an employer, as someone that is interviewing people every week. I look a lot at the attitude, even more than the credentials. I look at the attitude. I look at the energy. That's very, very important for me as an employer. For those of you that don't aim to become entrepreneurs, you don't need to become an entrepreneur and do all this on your own. You can join other companies and you can become an entrepreneur within those companies, or you can join this type of projects and drive the change. This is not for everyone, don't get me wrong too, but if you feel you have inside of you this appetite, then of course you need to try that. You need to not just try, you need to do whatever it takes to see if you are built for that. No? It's about how you are going to handle that pressure as well too.
Thank you so much. And we actually have another question from Jan, a second year here, that I would like to ask you. So which specific traits do you try to find in people that you want to surround yourself with in Gazelle? What specific aspects of people you want to team up with are you looking for?
Depends a lot on the level. Depends a lot on. Let's discuss like 3 types of profiles. One is like the people that are governing the company with the board of directors. Board of directors initially, and this is in transition. It depends on how you're moving forward. But initially, I was looking for industry experts, people with 20, 30 years career experience, that still have drive, they're still hungry. I was looking for that. I would say look at where are your weaknesses and focus on your strengths. Like, to summarize, to not get into much details, I'll let you ask me. Look at your strengths, focus on developing those strengths, and for the weaknesses, bring people that cover those weaknesses. That's very, very important. You will need, you are the CEO and founder of your company, you will need some basic skills. You will need potentially, you need, for example, do some type of sales skills or communication ability skills, some type of leadership skills. You need that. But if you don't have that, you are more technical, well, bring the right co-founder with you. Bring the right partner that will have those abilities. I could never do the type of technical work that Dr. Garcia does, because he's a genius. He's a genius. He can deliver the technical work that I could deliver in a month. He delivers that in 2 days, in 1 day. So find that, and normally that leads to another element, another trait, which is passion, which is enthusiasm. You need to be enthusiastic about what you're doing. I'm not working. This is not work for me. I don't feel like I'm working. I feel I retired many years ago when I was 27. Since then, so I'm followed by my gut. I'm driven by this, and that's how you can work so many hours, as I was saying before. If there is not, if you are only doing this for money, then you will not go through the speed bumps. You will not. You need to have something more important than that. You need to be connected to something greater than you, and I believe that enthusiasm is important. So I try to bring people aboard. That's more at an executive level, that have passion, that have enthusiasm. And when you're starting an early stage company, some of these people may need to make sacrifices. Maybe they have this salary in the company and they come to work with you, and their salary is not as what it used to be, but they believe in this dream and they're willing to do this because they're fulfilling other emotional needs that they have. So I would say, to summarize, I would say that drive, that passion is very important. The attitude, that's very important for me. That's something I look at. Everyone is collaborating with me must have that. And also try to bring people that complement your weaknesses, and then you bring a terrific team. In this industry in particular, I'm also looking at senior experienced people with hands-on real experience. So there are very few in the world, and that's at a more senior management level. But again, let's say the people that we're going to push this new industry, it's you. It's the new generations, because we will need to push this for the next 30 years. And some of the most senior people now in the industry, they will be retired by then. So some of them, they want to give back, and they want to teach you, and they want to mentor you. And that's very important, because we are the ones that will be pushing this in 2040 and 2050. So that's very important. That's very important that you understand that. We have a historic opportunity in humankind to create new industries that will enable the energy transition. And what you've seen today is one example. And to me, this is going to be one of the largest ones in renewable energy in the next few decades.
I totally agree with you. Thank you. So passion, the key word of why you look into people. And then following up on Jan's question, Max, a student here as well, is asking, how did you find all these people? How did you find these people with those traits? How did you look for people to surround yourself with for developing this project?
Oh, I will share with you very practical tips. As an entrepreneur, that doesn't cost you money. Like, if you have an idea, you can start to develop that idea without spending your money. I strongly suggest you, if you don't have already, I know you have, Brew, because we are connected already. I know you have a LinkedIn profile. I know you have one, but the rest of the audience, doesn't matter the age. If you want to be involved in some type of professional activity, LinkedIn is a great tool, and allows us to connect. So a good example to start to connecting with these people is LinkedIn. And again, kiss a lot of frogs. Don't be shy, because you're going to be rejected a lot. But when I started, I was sending, and I'm not shy to share this, because this is how it is in reality. I was sending 500 messages per week to industry experts. I did this during the start of 2020. I was doing that, and again, no excuses. We were under lockdown, under COVID. We couldn't go outside, so it was a great moment to do this because everyone was at home. So if you send 500 messages, I was getting half of them accepting my request, and maybe getting 10 to 15 to 20% of my requests accepted to have a meeting. So then you get into a 15-minute meeting with an industry expert, maybe someone that has been in an industry for 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, 35 years. So that person knows a lot about that. And then you don't know nothing because you just started. If it's in your industry, you don't know nothing. That's good. In the first meeting you go, yeah, you will not know nothing. But you will ask the person, you will share with them this idea, and in a polite way, you can, well, you've been in this industry for so many years, you are the expert. I've heard that this is a problem and I'm trying to solve it in this way. What do you think? Is this a crazy idea or does it make sense? And then this person will tell you, and they will tell you, and also another problem is this and this. So the next time you go to another meeting, you already know something. You already know that there is this problem, and this guy or this lady told me this and this and this. It's another problem. So then, when you have done 100 meetings, well, you know much more than probably than 99% of the people on that industry, because you've extracted the knowledge from 100 people, and then you can choose the best one. You can choose the person that you feel that is going to be the best fit with you, and that's what I did. I interviewed initially like hundreds of people, and I chose the one that I thought that was a senior executive from GE, great guy, the best salesman I've met in my life, very, very experienced. He has done great wind power projects, and it was very, very instrumental in the very early stages of the company. And then you start seeing what else do you need. Okay, I need someone with legal background. Okay, you need someone with legal background. I feel that I need someone to help me with the finance background. Maybe at this stage it would be great to bring some investors, and let's give a board seat to this investor. You can do this if you have a project, or you can do this in your life for anything. If you want to be an artist or a philosopher or a singer or an athlete, do the same. Do the same. Don't be shy. Approach someone that has been there and has done it. Try to do something not just related to this. It's good to share some hobbies too. Maybe you share the passion for good food, or for playing golf, or for reading books, or whatever. But I believe in mentorship a lot, and this type of people will be attracted to your energy too. So again, if you are enthusiastic, you have passion, you will attract this type of people. They will want to work with you. And if you are successful, I mean, you can make them very rich, of course, too. Don't forget about that. Like, you become successful with a project as such. They are attracted about the impact as well, and that stages. Some of them, they are not attracted about only the money. They are attracted about the impact they're going to be generating. That's important to say too. And it's very important to respect their reputation and run your business transparently in a way that their reputation is not tarnished by augmented. That's very important. That's a very important tip too. Respect that and be very transparent.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to have a sense of how to launch the first steps of a project. It's really inspiring. I will now wrap up as we run out of time. So Mr. Salazar, many thanks for sharing your amazing experience with us. It's really so valuable for us students. Your personal philosophy aligns a lot with our UWC mission and values, and I think it's a big example for all of us to follow. So thank you also to our audience, both who are present here today and those who are watching this talk online later on. I hope that the insights we have gained from the engaging discussion we had will inspire us to pursue impactful endeavors in our personal and professional lives, like the Gazelle project we learned about today. Thank you, Mr. Salazar.
Thanks a lot, Brew. Thanks a lot to the UWC Diligent College. Very glad to be here with yourself today. Feel free to connect and to stay connected. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for having me. Very much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you.